Hi, everyone. Thank you for your time and attention today. And thank you to the conference organizers, Alex and Anita. We love CMS, and it's really good to be here. Today, we're going to introduce ourselves shortly, but as you can see by the title, we're here to talk about innovation. And I think that means it's a really broad topic, and it means a lot of things to a lot of different people. And as a marketer at Aleph, I'm really excited to sit here with our supply chain partners, with Merck and with MilliporeSigma, to have this discussion about the importance of collaboration throughout the supply chain for cultivated meat. So I'll just keep talking and introduce myself. There's no moderator, so you're going to see us kind of looking a little lost at some point. So you're getting used to this fireside chat thing. So my name is Nicky Quinn. I'm VP Marketing at Aleph Farms. I recently celebrated my 5-year anniversary with the company, started on the agency side, and it's been an incredible journey. And yeah, just oversee all marketing for the company, and we play a large role in product innovation as well.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. So my name is Khyati Shah. I am part of MilliporeSigma, which is the life science business of Merck KGaA, Darmstadt, Germany, within the United States and Canada. I'm the global product manager for the cultured meat program that we have at MilliporeSigma. Have been with the company for the last 11 years now. Have always worked on food safety and the testing part of the food. In my current role, I am developing product roadmaps for the cultured meat customers that aligns with their goals as well as our business strategy. So I'm very happy to be here. Thank you.
I meant to introduce Aleph Farms, I'm sorry. Aleph Farms is a cellular agriculture company based in Israel. We have received approval for the first cultivated beef product in the world in Israel. We haven't launched, we haven't completed the full regulatory process. We need to do the site audit, which we intend on launching after the audit is completed, but that's Aleph Farms.
So, also hello from my side. Frederic Berkermann is my name. I'm co-leading the cultured meat project at MilliporeSigma. Since 13 years now with this company in different business development, marketing, sales roles, and innovation roles. And I hope a bit later now we will talk a little bit more about what innovation means also, and that to explain you what that is in a environment or in this supply chain partnerships that is bringing together two completely different companies.
So, would you guys want to take the lead on introducing innovation at Merck at MilliporeSigma?
I can do that.
Go
Yeah.
ahead. Great.
So, well, let me iterate it again, or let me say it again. I think Alex already started with that, but not everyone. It's not clear to everyone. So, MilliporeSigma is only the US branch of our life science business, and we are part of this global company, Merck. And in the US, we have to say Merck, KGaA, Darmstadt, Germany. But so we are a multi-billion company with different sectors in the electronics business, in the healthcare business, and in the life science sector. And that is important to explain you also that we are still a family-owned business. And that gives us flexibility in certain aspects, right? So it is not only about, of course, revenue, bringing revenue into the company, but it's a lot about sustainability, it's a lot about responsibility, and a lot about finding out what could we provide to the future. And that said is for that Merck group, we have an innovation centers around the world. And here, what we are doing here is incubating projects and innovation fields that are maybe not the classical business of Merck. So we have topics or innovation projects around blockchain, around bioelectronics, and about cultured meat. So that is where it all started. In 2018, also here in the innovation hub we have in the Silicon Valley. So we wanted to find out, okay, what does that mean? What is this new market bringing, and how could we collaborate, and how could we support this new industry? So we started with a small project team, going into the market, talking with all the stakeholders at that early times, right? So 2018 it was, and finding out how we can support and how can we collaborate, right? On different aspects our life science sector maybe can bring into that. And yeah, like this, it started, and we found out, okay, for example, media development is a hot topic, is an important topic, right? And of course, we have all our R&D and production around these aspects. And with that, then we found out, the Merck family also said, let's move into the sector and collaborate really much closer with the companies. And since last year, we're in the life science business, and Khyati maybe can continue.
Yes. So once the cultured meat program got integrated into the life science business, we have more structured innovation process. So for our our traditional product development, we follow the stage gauged process, right? Where every stage you decide, like you do design, validation, and then you launch a product. Cultured meat is special, because it's pre-commercial, pre-market, and so we really wanted to take our customers, from their R&D days all the way to the production or scale-up journey. And so we still follow a process where, we could help them, especially, and here I'm talking about the basal cell media, where we could help them derive their formulation, in terms of optimizing concentrations and things like that with our fast track program, where they could buy the media in a very small scale, but it's made in the same facility where the scale up or the large scale media is going to be produced. So that gives them the comfort that nothing is going to change once they're going to scale up. So we take this fast track process, and then once the customer is comfortable with the formulation, that's where our team of experts come in. So we have created this diverse team, which includes like R&D, regulatory support, quality support, supply chain, and of course product management and commercial team, that all of us create this project team and then can support the customer's needs in terms of documentations and things like that. So that's the process we created. Even being in such a big company, we were able to customize the innovation process. And then that leads to supporting our customers for their submissions, regulatory submissions. So yeah, that's the process we follow at Merck Life Science. And I don't know, Nicky, if you want to continue with other
Absolutely. Having been in the industry, I guess for a relatively long time compared to the overall age of the industry, I think the innovation process for cultivated meat companies has changed quite a bit. Because at first, typically when startups get going, it's a couple scientists, right? Or an engineer, and there's not a tremendous amount of functions. Being ex-agency and being involved in product innovation projects with companies like Nestle and Mondelez, I can tell you that in more established, larger companies, the innovation process is highly collaborative and cross-functional. So I think as many cultivated meat companies have grown in size and have other departments like corporate development, ops, regulatory, of course, and marketing, I think that the innovation process has changed a bit from something more linear, perhaps to something much more inclusive, with a diverse amount of opinions and checkpoints and similar stage gates, as was mentioned. So there's some parts I think that are traditional at a cultivated meat company, like when you look at it now compared to a larger established food companies, you do see a kind of really similar framework in terms of there being those stage gates and those validation points before it's greenlit to the next stage. But I do think that there are unique aspects to it due to mainly the novel nature of what we do. So for example, it's like you don't want to create a product that can't get passed in regulatory. It has an ingredient that's just going to kill it. You don't want to target a market where there's no regulatory framework. You don't want to use ingredients that cannot scale with you. That's why we love to work with folks like Merck, because they can grow with us. And that's very unique for large companies, I think, like Merck, to stick their neck out and take on these much smaller, customers that need just a small amount and that need a highly iterative innovation process. I think that's something that I personally really admire about Merck, and think it's really cool, because it's really important to have a partner who can meet your needs during your scale-up process, during your regulatory process, so you know that the amount of media that you're getting and when it works will work when you order much more of it, because as some of you may know, scaling in this industry is highly challenging. So as a marketer, I just want to say that we bring consumer insights, chef insights, where our go-to-market strategy is to launch through fine dining channels. So we're actually sort of B2B to C in a way. But I just call it like human to human. I don't really know how much it changes things if you do it right. So we always start with product's requirement document, right? What does this product at the end need to be? Something that informs all of Aleph Farms' decisions when it comes to product development and innovation is our philosophy about high impact, high value. We were just talking about sustainability on this stage, and for us, sustainability is really core to what we do because it's why we do beef. If you guys look at like chicken, I'm not sure really what the benefit is there, for example. But so high impact, high value. So conventional beef is by far, the worst perpetrator when it comes to particularly our environmental sustainability. So that's why we're focusing on beef from day one. And then high value, we need to have products, again, which is why we focus on beef, which is products that command a high price point so we can reach price parity and profitability faster. So we believe in having premium products and products that make a difference. So that informs everything that we build from day one. And we're always testing with consumers and chefs. We're actually doing a series of workshops with chefs around the world right now. We're excited to announce the results of the workshops that we just did in Israel. And I think that everyone knows, you don't want to build a product that nobody wants. So for us, we're always listening and have an extremely empathetic, human design-led approach to our innovation process. Yeah, the end.
Frederic, do you want to start the collaboration?
We can talk
And
about
how it started.
how we started with this collaboration, maybe. So yeah, as I said, we started in this innovation environment, right? In this, we tried to be a startup within a big corporate, right? So that is our philosophy somehow, and that is really crucial also to the internal management, to the customer, of course, right? So we are in between. We are the middleman, basically, to try to make things possible that are not possible in a normal corporate environment, maybe. So the collaboration with Aleph Farm started more than 3 years ago. So it's quite a lot already. And at that time, we came together and discussed how we could support also. And it became quite clear that we could support with our basal media development and production, right? So that was basically the beginning. With the clear goal, okay, can we develop and produce a tailor-made media for the cultured meat application that meets all the requirements? That means technical requirements, so that it has to work, right? Also quality requirements, documentation requirements, at the end regulatory requirements, so that it can be used for the commercial launch. And so that is, and you can imagine, I mean, 3 years or 4 years ago, was even a different topic, right? So it was, a lot of things were unclear. And here comes then into the game really that you have a team on both sides and that you can move forward even in fields where everybody feels a little bit uncomfortable at this point in time. and find out, okay, with our experts, with your experts, how can we work together and how can we, in a trustful way also. I mean, it's a lot about trust, right? It's different kind of partners and industry, so industry players in a supply chain, working on a sensitive topic, of course, and going forward and try to find a way forward. Yeah? And that is how it started. And so media development with all the benefits that Khyati already touched on a little bit with the fast track, but maybe you can elaborate a little bit more on that.
Yeah, so I think one of the thing we did, and I think we do that for every collaborations, and it's very key is like, start with a team. So we had our own internal expert team, and then we have a team from Aleph also with their expertise, and then you have these periodic exchange on what are the requirements, because as Frederic just mentioned, it evolved. So, whatever we had as a requirement a couple of years ago, even that changed. And so just working on that and reassuring that, we'll be able to provide the quality that is needed and all the regulatory documents that are very key to submit for approvals, because as Nicky just mentioned, unless there's a regulatory approval and consumer acceptance, it's going to be hard for this industry, to grow. So that was a piece where we really enjoyed this partnership or collaboration, I should say, where it felt like we are doing something meaningful and it's going to impact so much. Everybody knows why we are doing culture meet, right? The sustainable, like everybody may have one thing that they're looking towards, and it was great to support Aleph Farm in their journey.
It is a journey, right? I mean, I think that the reason collaboration is so important and relationships are so important when it comes to innovation. There's this woman, Brene Brown, that you guys may know, who studies, she's an emotional researcher, and she believes that vulnerability is the birthplace of creativity, innovation, and change. So I think that this is a great moment for the industry, as I would describe all of us is sort of in a vulnerable moment. We're in a tough spot. We're going through this valley of death that everyone's referring to. But I think this is also a really wonderful moment to really hone in on what really matters, to learn and to adapt. Being resilient is one of the most important things as a company. And I would say that it's also the regulatory process, especially if you're in a market where we are the first one applying, right? So in Israel, for example, we were the first company to receive approval. So you're sort of the guinea pig, right? So sometimes, the regulatory folks, they're learning too throughout the process. So as you submit your information, they have questions and there's back and forth, and they may ask for additional information that you may not have known it was required at first. So you really need to have partners who have the wherewithal and the institutional resources to support you. And for example, in this case, in the regulatory process, it was a requirement to provide certain documentation about every single ingredient that's in the product. That's extremely challenging assignment, okay? And Merck was really unique and wonderful in their ability to meet our needs and to provide the certifications and the documentations that the Ministry of Agriculture ultimately needed that helped us bring this product over the line. So I just think that collaboration and helps decrease the time to market. And I think that, again, like we're learning with each product that we're developing and we're bringing through, we change our innovation process. So I think it's important in innovation to also be flexible. So just really, again, really appreciate having a supply chain partner that can do that. And also from a marketing perspective, I would say that I think one day supply chain stories are going to be really important, right? Excuse me, I have a nagging cough. But supply chain stories are critical for transparency, to build trust, And to have partners, again, who can operate on such a high commercial level are really valuable in eventually communicating those kinds of stories to consumers. So again, big props to Merck on being able to support us in that marketing requirement.
And from our side, we can bring it to 100% back. So if you would ask me what is the major thing from the collaboration standpoint, and that was really a blueprint, basically. Yeah? So it was fantastic. This cross-functional collaboration teams on both sides, working trustfully on a topic that is changing all the time, as you said, right? So Aleph had fantastic teams on all levels, from R&D to QA, QC, regulatory, legal.
I think they're great too.
Everywhere, marketing, and it's fantastic. And because it's all about what you said. I mean, it's changing, and it's all about documentation that is maybe not typical for a company also like Merck, right? So it's about allergen statements to a certain extent. Of course, non-animal origin. Maybe it is important to have a kosher certificate or halal certificate of all these ingredients, right? Or specific impurity information with really low thresholds that you have to fulfill. All these kind of aspects that we really discussed, and that took time for sure, but we did it in a very concentrated way, and that was a way to success, I would say, because at the end there was a product that fulfilled all the requirements.
I don't have anything to add to that.
I see that there's under 10 minutes left in our conversation. We can open it up to questions.
Thanks, Alex. I was wondering, I think it's very cool that there's the collaboration. I was wondering how the, I guess when it gets down to it, like, does Aleph Farms like pay full price for all the services? Is there like a delayed payment? Is there like equity?
We're absolutely
like,
not discussing that. That's confidential. But I appreciate the question. I think that's interesting.
Cool. I had another question. So there's also, I also heard like, you know, MilliporeSigma has like its own innovations in the cultured meat space, like, you know, like with their membrane technology and plant, novel bioreactors and stuff. Is there like I'm just thinking about the topic innovations collab in cultured meat. How is that part of the business like? Does it bleed into this? Like, do you put it in, I don't know, I guess don't know if you can say.
Well, I mean, there are different levels of innovation ongoing within MilliporeSigma, right? Yes, I mean, there are also innovation projects ongoing about bioreactors, about scaffolding projects. So on different levels of readiness, basically, we have innovation for the cultured meat space. Innovation for this part, what we talked about is specifically basal media, basically, so cultural media, that was all about really finding out, okay, what are requirements and how can we tailor make it, right? And what are the documentation and the specification that are needed, and all these kind of aspects. Still is and was a huge innovation effort, basically, to get to this point, right? Where I guess now the entire industry is also taking profit out of that, yeah, through this knowledge gain.
Hi, thanks for a very interesting panel discussion. I was actually a question more aimed at Vicky from a marketing perspective. What type of strategies are you, I mean, one of the biggest things is actually selling cultivated meat to a population. What type of marketing strategies are you employing to get people interested in this product, and you know, even if all the technologies are out there, and you know, one day when they scale up and they become economically viable, you still want to sell the product to people. And so I'm just interested, what type of marketing strategies do you use?
Yeah, absolutely. So This is somewhat off topic, so, but I'm happy to speak to it. I come from a branding background, so for me, that's where it all starts in terms of our marketing strategy, is building a strong brand. We somewhat recently rebranded, and we actually just won gold in the European Design Awards for our logo. Not that consumers really care about logos anymore, but just wanted to flex. During the rebrand process, we decided to create a new brand, a product brand called Aleph Cuts. This was obviously extremely strategic decision to separate the yummy, delicious food conversations we want to have with the biotech conversations we also want to have on the stages such as this. And there's many stakeholders in this ecosystem, as we all know, from investors and policymakers to consumers and chefs and others. And they all have different needs, different stories that need to be told. So for us, we decided to carve out sort of a safe place to really focus on what consumers care most about, which is taste, price, and convenience. And this type of food, there's no exception to that, for better or worse. But that has also informed our marketing strategy, right? So Aleph Cuts will be really focused on building taste appeal, appealing to local food cultures. I can also say that our marketing strategy is to launch through fine dining or restaurant channels. We have approval in Israel. We will shortly have our audit done of our facilities, and then we'll be launching in Israel next year. We're going to we already have started doing some small private events. And with the limited amount of product that a lot of startups have right now too, I think that it's really important to have, I always say educate through experience. And I also know the folks at Upside, for example, have a great saying, tasting is believing. So I really think that getting the product out there and getting consumers and chefs to interact with it directly is really important. Having the right chef partners is really important. We're actually about to announce a new chef partnership on Monday. I wish I could tell you who it is, but it is critical to have culinary involved in the innovation process. I can't believe I just mentioned this, because we're making food after all. And we're really proud and excited already to have Marcus Samuelsson on our team. He operates out of New York, is Swedish-Ethiopian background, and he's just amazing. Our other chef partner who we're about to announce has also been working with us for over a year. And it's really important to have the right brand ambassadors that can help build trust, that culinary credibility that you need to deliver the experiences you need to get consumers to connect and have really positive associations with your product and brand. I also think that when it comes to our marketing strategy, I believe in the power of niche audiences. So a lot of folks, talk about going, mainstream, and the word niche is often sort of a dirty word because it's thought of as small and insignificant. But like I said, there's a lot of different reasons that bring consumers, let's just narrow in on them, to the table, quite literally. They definitely care the most about taste and price and convenience, but some folks are really in it for the sustainability. Some folks are in it for the animal welfare. Most folks are mainly in it too for the novelty and the newness of it. That's also why we call our brand Aleph Cuts, not Aleph Steak or meat. We really want to double down on the novelty aspect of it. I think Vow is also another cell ad company that is following through on that kind of marketing strategy, because for better or worse, because the product tastes so much like meat, there's just not enough in it for consumers if you don't make it new. You're just saying, here's something you've always had. It's made another way, and it's way more expensive. I don't know. There's just not enough in it for them. So we really want to create a new category. It also helps with stakeholders like farmers. When you don't try to say your product is just like theirs, you can piss off less people. So that's another nice aspect of it. So we're really, with Aleph Cuts, trying to speak a new language, really trying to sort of break the mold of meat. When you look at cars, I'm talking a lot, sorry, there's not that much time left. When you look at cars, like the first cars looked a lot like horse and carriages, right? And then they changed. So I think that you might see a lot of products at first that are sort of playing it safe, sort of close. Again, I think Val's doing something cool with their parfait. But I think and I hope that we start to kind of get weirder and get different and see how we can leverage this technology to do new things, not play in the same sandbox. So that's sort of a messy answer to part of the marketing strategy, but yeah.
I just had one question for the MilliporeSigma team. What is the, maybe the word is typical or minimum time to market, or sorry, not time to market, time to sample from starting a conversation to getting that first kind of sample or custom sample?
Good question. So I think we mentioned it, right? We have a process that is called fast track. And that is basically our sampling technology, which is exactly mimicking our large-scale possibilities. So it's even in the same building and using the same materials and the same technology. And to answer your question directly, it takes weeks. So it's 1 month, I would say 2 months, depends on how busy the line is basically. But we are discussing the formulation. We have ideas for maybe changes in that formulation regarding costs or supply chain availability basically, right? And then we can produce it. And within some weeks it is on your bench.
Great, thank you. And I think we have one more question.
Thanks, great conversation. I'm curious from both Millipore and the Aleph side, you guys have worked with, I'm sure, tried to build lots of other collaborations and partnerships. I'm curious, what have been some of your biggest learnings in building partnerships? I know there can be both so many hurdles, but also so many advantages in building these collaborations. So curious, yeah, what are some of the highlights?
I think that we've been really lucky in that respect. Now, hindsight's 2020, but I would say that when you're thinking about ingredient suppliers, make sure that you're getting your ingredients from someone who can, like we've referred to many times, the documentation that you'll need. Sometimes, especially in the early stages, companies work with ingredient suppliers that provide lab-grade ingredients. Now, these are problematic when it comes to regulatory approval time, and it's a real pain to find new solution around that throughout your supply chain and find new ingredients that can fulfill regulatory requirements. So I would say that. But we've had wonderful partners, and many of our investors actually come from the meat industry. One of the reasons why we've applied in Switzerland is because, well, first of all, they're under a different regulatory body than the EU, but also because one of our partners is Migros, and they are. I was just on the call with them this morning. They're champions for us locally and help our conversations with regulatory body, and I think having local partners, particularly from the incumbent industry, is really helpful.
I think one thing I can add from our side is, just like conveying that message of this kind of collaboration internally to a company like Merck, right? Because it's a different market and it's a different perspective. So we did have to make changes into our standard process that has been established for decades, right? And so it was a challenge in the beginning where you're trying to convince our sponsors, our project sponsors, to why we have to change the way we do, for a different market. But it was a great learning, and we could see the impact that it created. And so it's a journey, and we really hope that we could collaborate and support this industry a lot more to accelerate their growth.